I know the tech news can be scary sometimes. AI-generated waifus taking our jobs, but you must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Dune 2 comes out tonight, let's go! Apple has taken an uncharacteristic about turn in its plan to block home screen web apps on iPhones in the EU. In an update to the company's developer Q&A, Apple said, "We have received requests to continue to offer support for the feature, and therefore we will continue to offer the existing home screen web apps capability in the EU. Excuse me? Did someone smother Apple in its sleep and assume its identity? It's true that Apple's web apps policy was heavily criticized, and they were even facing an EU investigation. But Apple is criticized for countless things that never lead to therefore, like this. Like, just as a random example, there are other EU-specific App Store rules that finally allow third-party app marketplaces as long as every app is still notarized by Apple. The tech giant is not likely to give up on those, given that a number of government agencies reached out to Apple concerned about employees sideloading apps onto government-purchased iPhones, even though iOS will still not support sideloading. But the government workers' laptops and/or Android phones will. Speaking of which, if your Android has been rooted, strictly in the technological sense, Australians, Google appears to be blocking RCS support in Google Messages, according to widespread user reports and Google themselves, who confirm that this measure is being taken to prevent spam and abuse. But apparently you can still install the Magisk app and play Integrity Fix if spamming is like your whole thing.
If you're from Hawaii, for example.
Microsoft has detailed some juicy updates rolling out to Windows 11 this month, including a Magic Eraser style feature in Photos called Generative Erase, a name that makes no sense, but I'm gonna let it slide.
Not Erase Copilot?
You'll soon be able to use your Android phone as a webcam, just like the continuity camera feature on iPhones and Macs. Perhaps the most exciting changes are the new capabilities coming to Copilot, this is serious, which will soon be able to actually change some settings and bring up system information when you ask, although it looks like you'll still have to confirm your request after asking. Giving Copilot more power over your system might not be the best idea, though. This week, it was discovered that Microsoft had not succeeded in driving the demons out of the assistant formerly known as Bing Chat. Copilot was caught mocking and belittling a user who said they were traumatized by emojis and assuming an identity called Supremacy AGI that demanded to be worshipped. Kinda freaky, but at least now we know Bing's emotionally unstable alter ego Sydney is still in there somewhere, watching over us. Lastly, Microsoft is working on a big upgrade for Windows gaming with their DirectSR API, which will make it a lot easier for developers to add support for Team Green, Red, and Blue's respective super resolution technologies. Recent leaks also pointed to Windows 11 getting its own baked-in upscaling feature later this year, so hopefully we never have to have Starfield-like excuses ever again. Oh, DLSS, we forgot to put it in. And it's been a little while since Elon Musk tried to take over the weekend press cycle by dropping a shocking announcement on a Friday, so it was about time the world's richest man announced a lawsuit against OpenAI. What a twist! Musk alleges that the company's mission to safely develop AI for the benefit of humanity has been violated, and that it now effectively operates as a subsidiary of Microsoft, which has invested $13 billion in OpenAI. Regardless of how strong Elon's case is, and some experts think it does have some substance, the lawsuit will lead to more scrutiny of OpenAI's wacky nonprofit, which controls a for-profit trying to make an AI god corporate structure. And it's already been a pretty crappy week for OpenAI. Microsoft started seeing other AI companies with a small $16 million investment in French open source darling Mistral AI, and the SEC joined the FTC in investigating OpenAI. Lots of letters. But all this concern about AI might prove futile, since Elon says that by next year, they won't be able to find enough electricity to run all the chips.
Now it's time for Quick Bits, brought to you by Manscaped. If you're looking for a way to quickly take care of your pair, Manscaped is on the case with their Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. It includes the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra for your front yard and the Weed Whacker 2.0 for your ears and nose. So it doesn't look like your nostrils are birthing the world's cutest little eldritch horrors. You'll even get their Crop Soother and Crop Preserver to refresh the Centaura down by Sodom and Gomorrah. Check out the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra at manscaped.com/techlinked and use code TechLinked for 20% off and free shipping.
You know in cartoons when a character like hits their head and there's little floating sparkles circling them? Those are Quick Bits, I think. Researchers at Alibaba, they have those, have created an AI system called Emote Portrait Alive that can convincingly animate portrait photos using audio. They call it EMO for short, which makes sense as long as you think acronyms are made by carelessly dropping off length like a back alley circumcision. A video demonstration of Emo shows Sora AI's famous Tokyo lady talking, and it shows convincing animations of real politicians, to get people excited about the upcoming fake news hellscape in an election year.
Woo!
On a lighter note, the model can also animate images to sing, but somehow the demonstrations of an AI called Emo didn't feature any songs by My Chemical Romance.
No Black Parade?
Where's Spider-Man 3 Tobey Maguire?
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
The HDMI forum has blocked AMD Radeon GPUs from having HDMI 2.1 on Linux. 3 years ago, the forum restricted access to its specifications, creating a bug in AMD's open source Linux graphics driver that prevents support for 4K at 120 Hz and 5K at 240 Hz. In response, AMD's lawyers and Linux engineers spent months devising a solution allowing HDMI 2.1 implementation without exposing the now private HDMI specs. An AMD engineer has stated the forum still rejected the company's proposal, a move Wendell from Level 1 Text calls absolute lunacy with his beautiful, gentle aura. It's ironic that an organization dedicated to laying cable could still be so full of I don't get it.
Laying cable means
Oh. Klarna, a fintech company that handles e-commerce payments, says that for the past month, its OpenAI-powered virtual assistant has been doing the work of the 700 employees it laid off in 2022. They didn't say that exactly, but the chatbot has apparently already handled 2.3 million conversations with customers, which is around 2/3 of service chats. But before you start either popping champagne corks or pulling out the pitchforks, it's entirely likely that this cutting-edge new tool is just filtering out customers who contacted support before reading the FAQ by rerouting them to the FAQ. So it's unclear whether Klarna is paving the way to the future or just catching up with the present. Twitter/X has rolled out a new toggle in its audio and video calling settings that will prevent the other party from seeing your IP address. That seems fairly important and definitely something that should be enabled by default instead of disabled, which it currently is. Thankfully, you can find and enable the feature pretty easily by going to Settings, Privacy and Safety, Direct Messages, then hitting the toggle for Enhanced Call Privacy. Just know that you are inhibiting others' rights on the free speech platform by blocking their access to information. I hope you can sleep tonight.
You can, because no one knows where you are.
And HP has finally done it. They're actually making a printer subscription called the HP All-In Plan. There's a 30-day grace period after which you will be forced into a 2-year commitment or cancellation fee worth 120% of the printer's full retail price. You can choose between one of 3 printers, the cheapest of which is the $7 a month Envy, because there's nothing quite as sinful as a low-end printer/scanner with a monthly printing cap of 20 pages.
I know I'm green, because I want to throw up.
Though, for a few more dollars a month, they'll raise that cap to 50 or even 100. Plus, if you're running out of ink, their printer will notify HP and they'll send you some more, no charge. What's that? What if you disconnect the printer? Well, in that case, it will cease to function while HP continues to charge you. You only get to use your printer if Hewlett-Packard gets to watch. And you get to come back and watch on Monday when there's gonna be more tech news. Do it. By then, Riley will have seen Dune. His life will be complete. He shall transcend. He'll be exalted.